Audio Jungle.
So welcome to chapter 1 guys, and I'm really excited to get started with you all. So let's just jump right into it. And in chapter 1 we will just be getting started, and the things that we will be looking over are so first we will be doing a basic introduction to MySQL, what actually is MySQL, why do we use MySQL, and things like that. And finally we will be getting our hands dirty and installing MySQL, and after installation we will be connecting to our MySQL server. We will see how we can connect to the server and do queries, run queries with the server. And I'll also provide you a sample database. You can download that database, or rather we will download it together, and we will see how you can import that database into your MySQL server, and we will examine the database, how the data is stored, and all that good stuff. And now if this all is not making sense to you, just bear with me. Step by step you will be a MySQL pro. So let's jump right into it, and let's start with what is a database. Now the name itself might give a lot away, but anyhow, let's get over it. So whenever you are accessing the internet and you go to a website like Facebook, Spotify, Amazon, or any other website, you see a lot of data, and very quickly you click on any link and the data is just on your screen in a matter of seconds or even milliseconds. And you create a playlist in Spotify, it is stored in a database. You upload photos in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, stored in a database. So itself, what can we say about a database is it is a collection of data. Now the thing is, it is not just a collection of data. See, what happens is you click on anything or you search for anything, your playlist or your saved albums or whatever, it is available to you very quickly. So it is not just data stored, it is a structured collection of data. The data is stored in a structured way, a structured and an organized way. What that means is, it's not like your room, or at least my room, that stuff is just lying around. You have to search for it for an hour. It is quickly accessible to you. So the system knows where the data is, so the search is quick and it is returned to you very quickly. That happens because the data is stored in an organized and a structured way. Alright, so the next question is, now what is a relational database? We are looking into this question because MySQL is actually a relational database. So what is a relational database? Alright, so let me give you an example. Let's say there's Amazon, and let's say there's a t-shirt. Do they sell t-shirts in Amazon? Okay, whatever. Let's say there's a t-shirt listed in Amazon, and so what is the data related with the t-shirt? Let's say it has a size, it is an XL, it has a color, it is black t-shirt, and it has a price. Let's say it costs $5. So $5, black, and size XL. So those three data are related to the product. And what is the product? The t-shirt. So what happens is, in relational database, this data is stored in a table. So let's say the table's name is products table, and the data about this t-shirt is stored in that table. Now we will look more into this in the next slide or the next chapter, so that you actually understand what's going on. So so data related to the t-shirt is stored in that table. Now who is selling the t-shirt? Let's say his name is Jack. Let's say the vendor is Jack. Jack is selling the t-shirt. So the t-shirt is not independent. The t-shirt is related to Jack because Jack is selling the t-shirt. So let's say we also have information about Jack. Let's say Jack have an address and Jack have a phone number. So Jack has an address, a phone number, and Jack, the name itself. So those are another data set that is related to the vendor. The vendor's name is Jack, the vendor's address is so and so, and the vendor's phone number is so and so. So the vendor's data is also saved in a table. Let's call it vendor's table. Now the vendor's table and the products table are related, as you can see. How? Vendor has a product. Now Jack may have many products. Jack may have he may be selling pants, he may be selling t-shirts, he may be selling hats and stuff. So Jack is selling more than one stuff. So that is what a multiple relationship is. It's because Jack is not just selling that black t-shirt we talked about. Jack is also selling a pant. Jack is also selling a hat and stuff like that. So that is a multiple relationship. So to give you a summary, the data is stored in a table related to different models. Let's call it model. So the products are stored in a product table and the vendors are stored in a vendor table. Vendor has multiple products, so that is multiple relationship. Now there can be now this a vendor has multiple products, so this is one type of relationships. There can be many other type of relationships that we will discuss shortly. So what is SQL? Now, as we can see, SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Now, it is just a standardized language that is used to access the database. Alright, so this is the language that we write in whenever we want to access the database or create the database and that kind of stuff. Alright, so the current version of the standardized query language is SQL 2016. So whenever we are referring to this SQL standard, we mean the current SQL version as of now, that is 24th March 2020. The current SQL version is SQL 2016. Alright, now SQL contains three parts: data definition language, data manipulation language, and data control language. Data definition language allows you to create the database, create tables and views, and data manipulation language allows you to manipulate data. That is, it allows you to update the data and query the data, get the data, and that kind of stuff. And data control language has to do with stuff with the permissions. A database can have many users. Let's say you have a database for a blog, and then now you have an admin that can add the blog, delete the blog, that kind of stuff, and an editor that can only edit the blog. So different users need to have different permissions, and that's what data control language allows you to do. It allows you to grant the permissions to a user to access specific data in the database. Alright, now moving on to what is MySQL. Now, is the daughter's name of MySQL's co-founder, Monty Widnius. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And MySQL is just the combination of My and SQL, hence MySQL. Alright, so MySQL is actually a database management system. So it allows you to manage relational databases. Now we have discussed what relational databases are, and MySQL allows you to manage those kind of databases. So it is an open source software backed by Oracle. So what it means is you can access MySQL, you can use MySQL without paying anything. It's free of cost. Also, once you are done with this course and you are into coding and that kind of stuff, you can feel free to play with it and change the source code according to your need. We won't be doing that in this tutorial. Also, MySQL is multi-platform, so we can use MySQL in Linux, Windows, Mac, wherever we want. And if you don't know about LAMP stack, LAMP is just Linux, A for Apache, M for MySQL, and P for PHP. Now MySQL is an essential part of this LAMP stack. Alright, so finally we will be getting our hands dirty and we will be downloading and installing MySQL. So if you are in Windows or in any other system, you can just go to dev.mysql.com as shown here and just download MySQL for your appropriate system. In Linux, you can also do these commands if you are in Ubuntu, and you can follow following commands if you are in CentOS. Nonetheless, you can go to dev.mysql.com and download the packages for any system that you are in, Windows, be it Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. Since I am in Windows, I'll be downloading for Windows and taking you through the steps one by one. So let's download the MySQL server. First go to dev.mysql.com and then go to downloads. See, I'm in Windows, so I'll be downloading for Windows. You can download for the system that you have. Go to MySQL community downloads, and then these are for Linux. This YUM repository is for Red Hat systems. This is for Debian systems. So I'll just do MySQL installer for Windows, and then I have a 64-bit system, but there is no 64-bit support here, so no worries. I'll just download this one, MySQL installer, and you don't need to log in or sign up. Just click on just start my download. So guys, my installer is downloaded and I'll be installing this. But again, if you are in any other system other than Windows, in Linux or in Mac OS, and you're having trouble, just let me know and we will fix that in no time. Alright, so let's start with the installation. Let's hit yes. And so this thing is actually not the installed, that is MySQL that is installed. This is just the installer. So you might not see this screen, you might see another screen. Let me just go through this first. So I am seeing this screen and you might not be seeing this screen because I already have this installed. If you don't already have this installed, then you might not be seeing this. So let me just hit cancel. So this is the screen that you'll be seeing without this MySQL Workbench. So anyway, click on add and click on MySQL server, and the server 8.0.19, and click on this arrow to move it to this section. This is the section where products that are to be installed are listed, and then click on applications and install MySQL Workbench and move this to this list also, because we need Workbench. We will need Workbench later on in the tutorials. Now I already have that installed, so no need to install that. Click on next and it is ready to install. Now this might not go this smoothly in all of your systems because Visual Studio C++ redistributable is not installed. The kind of error is very common. If it is not, it's fine. If you have that error, then just download the VC redistributable from the link that I have in the resources. Alright, if you don't have that problem, just click on execute and let it install. See, this is installing. And we are done. Our MySQL server is installed successfully. So let's just hit a standalone server at the moment, and we will be connecting through TCP/ICP. And now this is the default port on which our MySQL server listens. Now if this is confusing to you, no need to get into the details. Now what this is just the protocol using which we will be communicating with our MySQL server. This is the port on which the MySQL server is listening. Now you don't need to go into the details of all these things at the moment. This is some network related stuff. Just follow the steps that as I'm doing and we will be fine. Okay, just use this strong password. Click on next and the root password for yourself. I will just write I am root, and yeah, I know it is weak, but that's fine for now. Alright, no need to add users at the moment. Click next, and if you tick this, the MySQL server will start whenever your computer starts. Otherwise you will have to start the MySQL server manually by typing the MySQLD command. We will look into that again. And even if you don't click any of this, we will be fine for now. Alright, just click next and click execute again. And click finish. And our MySQL server is successfully installed. Cheers and congratulations guys, the first step is complete. And for those of you who are having trouble, just let me know and we will go through your problems in no time. Okay, so once the installation is complete, you can just check if it is installed successfully or not. Just go to your Windows, type MySQL command line, and just enter the password that you had set. And then this is MySQL console. You should be logged into MySQL console. Now just type show databases, and this will show you the databases that are already there. And these are the system databases that are already pre-set up, so I don't need to worry about these. Okay, now if for some reason you are unable to log in, you can just go to your program files. It will say like you are unable to connect to the database or something like that. You can just go to your program files, go to MySQL, go to MySQL Server 8.0, go to bin and search for MySQL and then just run this thing. Your server, MySQL server, so it should start, and then you can log in using the same thing that we did. Now in case the server is not starting, just let me know what the problem is. I'll help you fix it. Alright, now if you are in Linux or Mac OS, you can also get into the MySQL console using the MySQL commands. So I'll show you those commands. Now guys, these commands are universal, so these commands will work in Mac or Linux or Windows or in any operating system. So go to your terminal, and then go to this directory, and here the commands are MySQL, and here's the -u stands for user. You'll be logging in as the user, and this -p is indicating that we need a password for this user. Hit enter and then enter the password that you had set. Now this is it. Now you are inside MySQL console. Now if you hit show databases, now these are the same databases that were shown before when we used that MySQL command line tool. Alright, so this is the same thing in Mac or in Linux. If you do this MySQL u command, this command is the same command. This is the same command that you use in Linux or Mac OS too. Alright, so if you can use this fine, that means your server is installed. Alright guys, so now we have successfully installed our MySQL server and we have connected to the MySQL server using this MySQL u root p command, and we have also connected to the MySQL server using the MySQL command line tool in Windows. If you are in Linux or Mac OS, you should have followed this command to log into the MySQL server. So now let's check out a sample database. You can download the sample database from the resources, and this is the import command that you can see here. Now once you have downloaded, we will just import the database and check out the database. Alright, so once you have downloaded the database, as you can see I have downloaded this here. Just extract the files. Okay, now with this you now need to log into your MySQL. So I'll just enter my password. Okay, now with you logged into the MySQL command line client, now what you need to do is you need to import this. So importing is pretty simple. You just need to define right source and then the path of the file slash what was the spelling? mple database.sql. Just hit enter. See, Now as you can see, the data is imported, so it's pretty simple. Now if you want to check, you can write the show databases command, and as you can see, this classic models is here. Cool, right? You have imported your first database. Congratulations guys, congratulations. Now you have this classic models here, but how do you check what's inside the classic models, what tables are in it, what items are stored in it? To do that, you can just do use classic models, and see, as you can see, the database change message. Now you have this classic models database selected. So to check what tables are inside it, you can just go show tables, and now you can see these tables. This customers table includes or possibly stores customer data. Employees table should store employee data, and similarly for all these things. Now there are other commands, queries that you can do to check what data is stored and all that stuff, but we will go into that later. For now, let's try to connect to this database using Workbench. Now why I'm using Workbench is because that is a GUI tool. It's not just a command line, so you can use GUI to actually look at the database without complex commands or queries. It's not that complex, but for you it will be better to just look at the data, look at the database from a GUI view instead of this command line for now. Okay, so now we will be connecting our Workbench to our database. So click on database, manage connections, and create new connection and name it local DB or whatever you want. And the host name, port, and username are all the default values. In case you haven't changed any of these, then they should work fine. Now password, click store in vault and enter the password that you had created, and click test connections. If everything is working fine, then you should have this message successfully made the connection. And if you don't have this message, just let me know, we will fix it together. Alright, click on OK and click close. Now you can click on database, connect to a database, and from the stored connection list, just click on your local DB and hit OK. And now we are connecting, and voila, you have this thing. Now this is the management console, this is the schemas. As you can see, the database that we had imported is here. You can just click here, click on tables, these are the tables. You can click on a table, click this view thing, and here you can see the table. This is the table. So that's why I wanted you to install Workbench, so that without knowing commands too, you can check the database, check the tables and the columns, and check what all data are stored in this thing. So pretty cool, right? So this is it for chapter 1. Now feel free to play with these tables, check what these things are. Now these are called columns, these are called rows. Now you can just go through everything and just play with it. Feel free to completely play with it. Pretty exciting, isn't it? Now these are the tables that we will be working on throughout this tutorial period, so just check it out. Now this thing is a row, as it is a row, and this thing is a column, so these are the data that we will be using. Alright, have fun. I will see you in the next chapter.